Hi, hello. It's time for some more questions to be answered. Now is the time. The time is now. So that's what I'm here to do. That's what I've come to do, and that's what I shall do. We've got some questions that have been asked, which are someone wants to upsize implants. Someone's got pain in their breast and they've had an accident and they've had breast implants in the past. Oh, and the scar and the beard scar, a mole on the beard, and whether that will have hair on it. So those are the three questions that we've got so far. So if you've got any questions, then do, as always, get in touch. So the first inquiry is someone who's got they've got a mole on the beard, and they want to have the mole removed, and they're wondering about whether the scar will have hair on it. And the answer is it won't. You get something called scar alopecia, which means that when you have a scar, there is no hair on the scar, and this is important to be aware of when you make a scar in a hairy place like the beard or the scalp. Well, I'll say a hairy place, maybe not so hairy, or thinning a bit on top myself these days. But and the important thing to say is that the scar itself won't have any hair on it. Now, if you're a lady with lots of hair, or a man indeed with lots of hair, a person with lots of hair, then it doesn't matter, because if the scar hasn't got hair on it and there's lots of hair on either side, then it doesn't matter. Similarly, if you've got a big bushy beard, it doesn't matter, because the scar will be within that bushiness of the beard, and it's not a problem. So if you've got a big bushy beard and lots of hair, it doesn't matter. If you are totally shaved, so if you shave your face or if you totally shave your head, it doesn't matter, because you just have a scar. The scar will be red and then it'll fade, and it usually fades pretty well. The problem comes if your hair is very short. So if you are a man and you shave your head short, or if you shave your beard short, then it is a bit more obvious. So then you have an obvious line in the beard, or in the hair. So yeah, the scar won't have any hair on it, but there will be hair on either side of the scar, which if the hair is long, will sort of cover the scar. But the problem comes if you shave your beard trim, and the patient who's sent in the photo, he's got quite a full beard, but also the mole is a little bit off the beard. So I don't think it's that important. That I don't think it matters that much anyway. But anyway, I thought I'd answer the question anyway. So that's the issue, that the scar will not have any hair on it. So if the beard was short or your hair was short, it would be a bit more obvious. The other question we've had is, yes, got a patient who is having surgery in January, and she's just emailed to say that she's okay with the implant selection, but can she have the next size up, which is very common thing that people ask and worry about with the breast implants. She's having 400cc implants, or that's what we looked at, and she's looking at the 435, I think it is, which is the next size up. And the main thing about this, and sometimes people really get into it with all the implants and all the dimensions and everything, because it is important to look at profile. And I'll keep on saying, the shape of the profile is really important. And when you're going from 400 to 435, that's not a very big difference, 400 to 435. And the main thing about it when you're talking about going or upsizing an implant is whether you're going to stay in the same profile or not. Because if you, for instance, if you have a breast asymmetry, if one breast is bigger than the other breast, what I will often do, not always, but often do, is use different profiles of implants in order to maintain the base width. Oh, I think I might be getting a bit technical here. Because the base width of the breast is really important, and if you want to maintain the base width and have different sizes, you have different profiles. So a medium profile of one and a high profile in the other. Oh dear, I haven't thought this through. I think I'm going a bit technical here. So the point I was trying to make is the person who is asking is going to stay in the same profile. So she's, I can't remember what it was, I think moderate or high profile, but she's staying within the same profile. So if you stay within the same profile and you're going from 400 to 435 or 445 or whatever it was, that's not a big difference, because the implant is bigger in every dimension. It's so the difference in size is sort of absorbed in every dimensions. It's a big difference if you're going from a medium to a high profile, because if you go from a medium to a high profile, often the width of the implant changes, and often the implant becomes more narrow. And if it becomes more narrow but has got a bigger volume, then it sticks out even more. So to put it more simply, because I don't think I'll put that very simply, but to put it more simply, the difference in the two implants we're looking at is 0.5 centimetre in width, but 1 millimetre in projection, 5 millimetres in width, and only 1 millimetre in projection. So it only projects a little bit more, but it's slightly wider. And so we have to look at whether the width is going to be okay. The width is the only thing, not the only thing, but the main thing that I worry about. And so if the width is okay, then it's okay. But I don't think I've answered that well. I wish I could do that one again, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm not happy with my performance there. I think I've overcomplicated that a bit. But anyway, the point is, what's the take-home message? The take-home message is a lot of people wish they or want to go a little bit bigger, but just be careful if it's wider, because you don't want to go too wide. I think that's the take-home message on that one. So we'll have to look at the width of it. The width is what I talk about, what I look at, but when people talk amongst themselves, they never look at the width. So, right, let's see if we can do better on the next thing, which is a patient. I apologise for that, and if I could wipe the slate, I would, because I don't think I made that very clear. But I will look back at that to see if I understand it myself. But I will answer it properly to you. Well, I think I already have in an email, and we can always talk about it in clinic. So the other question, or the other thing was that's right, patient. She's had implants. She's had them this year, maybe 6 months ago or so. She had a road traffic accident recently in November, I think it was it last month, and she's got pain and she's worried. The number one thing is, if you're a patient of mine, well, if you're not a patient of mine, anyone can, I'll see you. If you're a patient of mine, I never charge for the follow-up appointment. So obviously, come and see, I'll see you, and we'll have a check on it and check everything's okay if you're worried. But the bottom line, that people worry a lot about these implants, but they're pretty robust, and it takes quite a lot of trauma to damage the implants. And so I normally say to people pre-op, or if you're having if a rupture is very rare, the sort of trauma you need to rupture an implant is a road traffic accident. Now, this patient's had a road traffic accident, but the main point is the amount of trauma that it would take to damage the implant would damage your body quite a lot, would damage your tissues quite a lot. And so it wouldn't look normal. You'd be pretty battered and bruised. You may have broken ribs. You need significant trauma to damage the implant to the extent that you would have damaged your body quite a lot. So if everything looks okay and you haven't got significantly, half your body's bruised and you're battered and all this sort of thing, it's unlikely that you've done enough trauma to damage the implant, if that makes sense. The other thing that people worry about is going in an aeroplane. A lot of people worry about that. They say, what if I go in an aeroplane, I've got breast implants in, they're going to explode and all this sort of thing. And similarly, diving. People worry about diving and pressure, the pressure. Now, the aeroplane's not really a goer because the aeroplane is a pressurized cabin. Diving is a bit more of a reasonable thing to worry about with diving, because it is pressure, and but neither of them in reality are anything to worry about, simply because the pressure, similarly, the pressure that you would need to damage the implant would damage your head and your brain and your lungs and your body so much more than you'd have to worry about the implant. If you're in a situation where your body is under enough pressure that implant is going to get damaged, your body, your lungs, your brain, and your other cavities will be damaged too, and so the implants will be the least of your problems. So don't worry too much about stuff like having a road traffic accident, or diving, or aeroplane travel. But at the end of the day, if you are worried, obviously we'll see you and check you everything's okay. But you need quite a lot of trauma to actually do anything significant to the implant. Could always do a scan, but then that opens another kettle of fish, because if your breast looks fine and your implant's fine, it's only 6 months. Sorry, if your breast looks fine, you haven't got any significant symptoms, as the shape hasn't changed and things, you can do a scan. That can give you peace of mind. But like I always say to people with scans, they're never 100%. So it might say, oh, it's suggestive of rupture or suggestive that it's okay. So then we bring ourselves into another element of what are we going to do now, because clinically you're fine, but the scan suggested there may possibly be something there. Do we then chase it and do another scan, and all that's cost and everything, and anxiety. So I don't routinely scan people unless there's a clinical indication. If the breast has changed shape, if you've got any symptoms, if you've got any lumps or swelling, different story altogether. And then obviously we need to investigate that. We need to do scans and things like that. But if you're clinically asymptomatic, as in if your breasts look normal and you just got some pain and tenderness around the area, I would suggest that's almost certainly soft tissue problems and muscular, what have you, problems and pain. So I hope that has set your mind at rest. But my door is open, so you can always come and we can have a chat about it, and I can examine you and check everything's okay, just to be absolutely sure. But I hope that's been helpful for the viewers at home. So that's that. I thought that was going to be longer than it was. Actually, maybe it was long. That bit in the middle with all the moderate profile and high profile stuff, that was a bit. Went off the hook on that a bit. So anyway, I have to do a bit of I'll do some practicing on my own in my free time on that sort of question, and so I can make it a bit more concise in future. But hope that's been helpful. If as ever, I should say this at the beginning, Laura has left the building. Laura has gone. We said goodbye on Friday, so that was an emotional. Actually, on Monday, because it was yesterday. It wasn't actually, we had a lunch yesterday, but her last day was Friday. So that was emotional. Big loss for me and for the clinic. But she's going to bigger and better things. So good luck, Laura. But it's Emma. Emma's in the house, so email. I think Emma is picking up on Laura's emails and actually still sending emails from Laura's email address. But Emma at staianoplasticsurgery.co.uk. If you've got any questions, I should also say that we've got a podcast. I might, with all the audio of the Facebook Live videos. Not sure if I put this one on, but anyway. And also we're putting Facebook Live videos onto YouTube channel, and I'm doing a YouTube video every week. Yes, you heard me right, every week. Not just this one, not this stuff, like a, content YouTube video. So that's pretty exciting. So I don't know how many, I think we've got 44, maybe 45 subscribers. We had 43, I think, last week. So I think you'll agree that's pretty significant, 2 subscribers. So my children are obviously very proud of their YouTuber father, who is pretty high profile in the YouTube world. So please feel free to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. And I will be here tomorrow, next week, same time. Got any questions? Email Laura, drop us on the Facebook or the Twitter, tweet us. And we'd be love to hear from you, and I'd be very happy to answer your questions. Hope that's been helpful, and have a lovely, lovely evening. And I'm going to check out. Bye.